All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm with Mason of Big Spring Quail. And honestly, Mason, I'm disappointed with you. I expected you to show up with Mardi Gras mask,
Oh,
alligator necklace, everything. I expected the whole shebang. And here you are,
yeah,
just being normal.
yeah. It's not for me. I'll just frame it somewhere and look at it.
Yeah, I understand. Decorative. Get it. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Mason. I own Big Spring Quail in southern Kentucky. I am 17 and I started the business at 15 years old.
Nice. And you also play lacrosse.
Yes, and I play lacrosse and I have a job and I go to high school and
You are a very, very busy guy.
yeah.
How did you get into quail farming? I would normally ask, how did you get into homesteading? But I know that quail farming is your thing. So,
Yeah. Well, we also, have cows and everything else. But quail specifically, uh basically, it started through school with FFA because we're always encouraged to have a project going on called a supervised agricultural experience.
hmm
And previously, it had been bottle calves. And after a summer of feeding bottle calves twice a day and checking on them 3 to 4 times a day, I I didn't like it anymore, and so I was like, I gotta find something else to do. And I think November of 2022, I found quail on YouTube and I was interested. I was like, people raise quail? I thought that was just what's in the field across from the house. And so I researched it and I was like, hey, mom and dad, can I get quail? They were like, no, you hated bottle calves. What do you think quail are going to be? They said, you're going to get them and hate them after a month. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And so I just kept researching and kept saying, "Hey, can I get quail?" And so they were finally like, "You know what? Uh, there's this FFA thing you can do in Kentucky, and it's a grant application for $500." And they said, "If you get $500 free to start this out with, we'll let you do it." And so that's what I did. I got the grant. I got $500. I fixed up an old dog kennel into an aviary, bought a little tabletop incubator and bought some quail eggs and started from there and never stopped.
never stopped yet. And I always encourage everybody 4-H FFA. I mean, good programs, good
Yeah.
programs. We were in FFA in high school, and we run across our old ag teacher once in a while. I think he
Yeah.
might be slightly surprised by the fact that we actually turned out doing this.
Yeah.
um, how do they feel about it now that you've made a name
Um,
for yourself out there?
Last year was a big growth year for me, and I'd be hatching quail eggs, and they'd be like, "Do you have room for these? Are you sure?" I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, it's fine." And so
There's always
then,
room somewhere.
yeah, this year came around, and they kind of saw what happened last year, where I found a market and all that, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, go ahead, hatch eggs, buy cages." And so that's this is the first month this year where I haven't been, I guess it's only a few days into the month though, but I haven't been regularly setting eggs because I'm almost at max capacity because I've just
Mm,
been setting and hatching eggs since January, or
yeah.
actually November of 24, just getting ready for spring and hatching eggs to sell chicks and birds and all that. And
Do you do you plan on expanding from where you at right now? Or do you think that's what you can handle for the moment?
that's a tough question because if it was basically from the months of June to January, I could be just fine. I could probably handle 2,000 quail in those months and just be okay because I don't have anything other than school, quail, and I generally work. And in the summer, it's easy because I live here and this is where my quail are, and my where I work is I can see I can see the place from my front porch where I
Yeah.
work, so
So you're close
it's
by.
not far, and it's a neighbor, and so if I'm like, "Hey, I really have to do this with Quail. And like, yeah, go ahead. I know you have a business. Just let me know when you'll be here. So that's nice. But then once I start playing lacrosse, I leave my house to get to school every morning at about 6, and I'm not getting home till about 5:30, and then I have
Right.
to come straight home, check Quail. Uh, my mom makes dinner, so I have to be inside for that, and then it gets dark and all that, and so
Yeah,
it's
it's hard when you add
hard.
your sport in for sure. That's
Yeah,
long hours of practice in
yeah,
games.
yeah. But
And
I
you're going
mean,
into your senior year too, so
yeah, and
you'll be
going into
extra
senior year,
busy.
yeah.
Yep.
I think for right now, I might be able to add another cage, maybe two, but after that, I think I'm just gonna have to stick with what I really like and then just go from there. Because,
Yeah.
people don't think about it because some people are just now getting their eggs for this year, but I'm already thinking about next year and the year after that.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to always a step ahead.
Yeah.
Do you have any new projects in the works or stuff coming out that you'll be releasing soon?
Gosh, I have a lot of projects. There's a lot of projects, a couple that I can't talk about.
There's
Uh,
always a secret project.
yeah, there's a
Always.
handful of secrets. Um, coming out soon. Uh, I need to get my blues ready. I have my
Hmm.
blues, they're how I want them. I just need to make more. So they'll probably be out into the summer to the fall when people are ready to have eggs shipped again.
Right.
Um, there's one collection that I'm just getting a start out on that I think will be a really big hit. Uh, Basically, it's going to be a genetics starter kit for people getting into quail. It'll have your basic genetics to play with, like
Hmm.
English white, Tibetan, fawn, pharaoh, uh, and maybe blue, just simple genes to mess around with and say, okay, when I have two copies of this gene, it makes this, or when I put my Tibetan with my English white, I get a tuxedo. And just
Yeah.
simple things for people to dip their toe in the water with.
Yeah. I definitely think people will like that, especially if they can, work ground up
Yeah.
to the more
And that
complicated stuff.
yeah, and that was my idea because I mean anymore it's finally coming back, but last year it was hard to find pure things like pure Tibetan or pure Pharaoh. English white's never really a hard one to find. It's just finding quality English white.
Right.
So
Hmm.
figured put that all in one box and have it there for people who want it.
Yeah. And I agree with you. It takes a while to get that base stock.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff we originally started with, looking back at it now, I'm like, ooh, okay. Thankfully,
Yeah.
none of those genetics are here anymore. But
Yeah.
they, you know, regrets. What's the favorite thing about what you do? I have a
Um,
feeling I know the answer, but go ahead.
gosh, favorite thing about raising quail?
Just generally speaking about this whole the raising quail, you online a lot,
Mhm.
you running a business. What's your favorite thing that encompasses
It's
basically all of it, whatever you think?
yeah, it's kind of hard, but something that I found I really like is packing orders. For
Really?
someone like yeah, someone like you guys who are, packing however many, we'll say 50 plus a week or whatever you're packing right now. Uh, I'm probably doing 50 plus a day right now, but
Yeah,
it's
listen.
just it probably gets, annoying for someone like you who's doing that every single day and you staying up till 12 at night trying to get orders out, but for
That
me,
part's exhausting.
yeah, for me, it's just something I like. I like typing the orders in, getting my labels printed, making the boxes up, and shipping them out. It's just something, I guess, maybe because it's a reward to everything
Yeah.
I've put into it, but it's just something that I really like and feel the same way about when I deliver my eating eggs to the Mennonite market up the road every summer.
Yeah,
I have a friend who works in the market, and I like talking to him and delivering the eggs. And every now and then you'll see someone buy some of your eggs, and you're like, "Oh, that's cool." And they don't
right.
even know they're your eggs.
I can understand where you're coming from with packing the eggs though, because I remember when we were packing one order a week,
Yeah,
and it's a sense of accomplishment. You're
yeah,
like, "Huh, look at me getting out into the road." So yeah, I get that. I get that
yeah,
part. It is exciting. It is exciting. I understand.
yeah.
If you were going to start all over, is there? I mean, you did it correctly, but if you were going to start all over, like, is there anything you would change?
Definitely. Uh, First thing I would change would probably be some of the cages I ended up buying and starting out with. Just Facebook Marketplace things like, oh, it's a coil cage and it's $250, and now I still use that cage because I need the space, but I absolutely hate that cage. It's got homemade wooden poop trays, and
It
it's
sounds
just
rough.
it's terrible, but I need it because it's my only grow out cage for right now.
Hey, I
Uh,
get it. We have a big behemoth of a grow out cage that we got probably 5 years ago. It's gigantic. It's
yeah,
welded. It's
yeah,
terrible, but it works. It works. So
yeah,
we keep using it.
yeah. And I mean, I keep saying like I'm gonna take that thing and I'm gonna throw it in a fire pit and never look back. But then I'm like, I really
Cool.
need space for some birds. Hold on a little longer.
Yep. Yeah. Uh,
But
yeah. No, I
other
think
than
we all
that,
go through that.
I the brooder, that was a big one for me. I made a big 3 foot by 2 foot brooder with a heating plate. And what ended up happening a lot with that is the chicks would find their way at the far corner away from the heat plate and then freeze.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's something I would definitely change.
Yeah, they're not the brightest crayons all the time though. So.
But I mean, I was thinking the other day just how I started raising birds outside and that aviary and one or two just off the ground cages. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, that's just seems so simple now, and it seems so fun to just have two cages of birds and reach in and grab the eggs off the wire every day. And I think my sister has a video of when I got my first egg out of one of those cages. It was a celadon too, and I was jumping up and down. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have an egg!" And my sister was like, What? Are you in for real?" I was like, "Yes."
But let's face it, every time a new group starts laying, you still like, ooh, they started laying.
Yeah.
It's excitement every time.
Well, anymore for me, it's like, oof. Now I got to figure out where to put them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We have a video on TikTok, and it's an older video from a couple years ago, and it's our quail setup. And I mean, and it's one of the most popular ones. And I cringe every time somebody comments on it or likes. I'm like, because it's just such a simple. Like if you know us now, you'd be like, "There's no way they're running this business on what they have right here." But we've expanded and expanded and expanded.
Yeah,
One day I might delete that one, but I don't know. It's a nice reminder,
yeah.
from where you
Simpler
came.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Way
yeah.
less poop,
When I didn't even have a poop tray to clean because they just pooped on the ground.
right? Good times, good
Yeah.
times.
And then
What? Oh, go ahead.
yesterday when I was doing poop trays, I had my rubber gloves on and I could feel the sweat pooled in the bottom of the gloves, and I took it off and whoosh. I
Yeah,
was
it's
like, ah, this
always
is
fun.
nice.
Mhm. If it makes you feel any better, that's what we did this morning.
Yeah.
So we did. This was not a fun
Well, I
time,
don't
but it got done.
I don't even know why I was sweating. It was only about 75.
At freezing, I could be wearing a sweatshirt in 75 degrees.
Yeah. And I was like, man, it must be humid or something. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not looking forward to those 100-degree poop tray days.
No, no, no. What's your best advice for like beginners, people just getting into it?
The thing I see the most, and when I see people do it, most of the time I bite my tongue. It's just you you go in too fast, too quick, too
Mhm.
too hard, too quick. Maybe I don't know, whatever the phrasing would be. They get a handful of quail. They're like, "Oh, this is cool." They see they could make some money off it. Then they're building a quail barn, and they have a bank loan to do it, and all this. And I'm like, no, because you're not going to make your money back on quail until you're 5, 6 years down the road at the very least.
Yep. Yeah.
And I see it all the time, and I do see plenty of people where I know that they're in a good position to finally be getting a quail barn. Then I
Hmm.
see other people where I'm like, I've never even heard your name, and you're building this massive barn. Let's maybe slow it down.
Yeah.
But
No, I
I
agree
mean,
with
yeah,
that.
that's my advice. Don't take a loan out for some stupid quail, and just take it slow. Maybe if you make $10,000 the previous year, then you can put 15 into a shed the next year. But
Right. Right. No, and I agree with that. That's kind of what we did. We pretty much whatever we expanded or bought new, we had the birds pay for.
yeah,
Now we have put money out of pocket obviously because sometimes you just have to
right.
do the next thing, but majority is we've gone ahead and let the birds pay for themselves. I don't know that I could have brought myself to like go all out right from the beginning.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
it's an expensive
yeah.
venture. It can
And
be. It can be.
yeah, and that FFA grant, I've gotten it 3 times now, and every time I get it, I'm like, okay, here's money for another cage. Now we can take that step. And
Right.
I finally, last week, this is a huge milestone for me. I'm sure it's nothing for you guys. I
No,
went
don't
through
say that. All milestones are important milestones.
I went through 2 bags of feed in 4 days, and I was like, oh, because this time last year, 2 bags of feed lasted me about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, welcome to that fun
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
Welcome to that. Before you know it, it's probably gonna be more than that.
yeah,
Once you get it at that max capacity you want.
yeah. If I get to that bag a day, I'm gonna be like, whoa, okay, maybe we need less quail.
Yeah, it's a lot of birds in a bag a day. I can tell you that
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
A lot, yeah. That's what Aaron said. A lot of poop too. It's just,
yeah. A lot of poop too.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to screen share right now, and you can tell us all about where we can find you online.
All right,
Let me pull you up. We're gonna go to your Facebook page first. You can tell us a little bit about it and what you post on there.
all right. Here's our Facebook page, Big Spring Quail. We're trying to get to 1.5K followers, and then we'll have a surprise for all of our followers. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and so hopefully we can get that going.
You
Uh,
don't look like you have too far to go either.
no, hopefully not. Uh, Generally, I post things like updates. I think that first post was a giveaway. There's a post about someone sharing how their experience with us. I always love hearing about that. I'll
Those are
always
the best,
post,
right?
yeah, I'll always post when we have new birds like that Tibetan. I'll post when we have new products, and it's just a good way to keep up with us. Whether it's a funny story about how I dumped a poop tray down my boot, or it's, hey, look at this cool Tibetan right here.
Nice, 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 nice.
But
I have
yeah,
also done a poop tray down the boot, so you are not alone.
yeah, and it's it was a poop soup too, so it was even
Oh,
more
that
fun.
makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Gosh.
There's a
Uh,
quail that I thought I called, and then
oh, I did read this.
I came back in the quail house one day, and he was looking at me, and I was like, "What?" And he was mad too. I was like, "He knows what I did."
I mean, I can't blame him. I would have probably have a little grudge myself.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. All right. And now I'm gonna pop over to your website if it'll let me. Let me go see. Still showing our Facebook page. So Let's see. Let me put that back. Okay. Let's get rid of you. Sometimes I get it right the first time, sometimes I do not.
Yeah, me and technology have a hate relationship.
I feel you on that one.
I'm sure he can tell you plenty of times I've said, Aaron, I don't know how to use my website. Help me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you're not the only one that asks for help because it is complicated to
Yeah.
work on the websites.
So our website has some problems that I need to fix. All four of these tabs that you see here on the
Mhm,
computer, only two of them show up on mobile device, which is the home and about the farm tab for some reason.
mhm.
Even though we have our shop tab and our contact tab. I don't know why that is, but I need to figure it out. But from our home screen,
Okay.
you can still get to our shop tab. At the bottom of the home screen, it says order now, which links you over to our shop screen. And there's a logo we had done. I'm really happy with how that ended up turning out.
Yeah, it looks good, I like it. Let's
And
see.
that's the black version, of course. There's the more colorful version. But yeah, and then there's your order now for mobile devices on that first home screen, and you
Okay,
click
so if
that.
somebody wants okay,
Yeah, and you'll click that, and it'll take you over to the shop tab.
perfect.
And we don't have very many eggs right now, just because I have all sorts of different birds, but to get a collection out, you gotta have enough birds to be able to collect an order worth of eggs in a day or
Absolutely.
two. So
Absolutely.
I have a lot of celadons, I have plenty of jumbos, and the assorted eggs are always easy because they can come from any cage you have.
Right, right. Yeah,
And
it's always
the
good to have that
assorteds
mix like
the
that.
assorteds are probably where the most of my cool birds come in. I normally add blues in there, tuxedos. I put celadons in my assorteds. Uh, just all the cool things I have. I have cinnamons that I'll add in there.
Now, I already know the answer to this one. But what's your favorite color?
That's a hard one, actually. Um, I really like tuxedos, but there's a couple things I'm working with that I'm kind of thinking, this is pretty cool. I'll I'll give the exclusive here first. One thing, probably because it resembles tuxedo, but one thing I'm working with that I hope to have out maybe around next spring is white wing pied. That's a very cool
Mhm,
gene where it just leaves one strip of color down the bird's back, and I'm really
mhm.
liking working with that. Uh,
Nice.
I really like the look of just a plain, pure, dark Tibetan. That's something I really
They
like.
are very pretty. They are
Mhm.
very pretty. I take them for granted until it's time to
Yeah,
take pictures of them for the
yeah,
website, and I see the
and
feather patterns. I'm like, "Oh,
I think my tuxedo and Tibetan obsession comes from those were the very first quail I had. I got uh, a 20 count of Tibetans and a 20 count of fob fees from Thieving Otter Farm,
mhm,
since they're only about 30 minutes south of here. And those were my first eggs. And I had some tuxedos in my Tibetans, and I had Tibetans, and I just always loved that brown color. And I ended up losing those birds to hawks, snakes, and whatever else penetrated my aviary, which is
mhm."
now retired because it sucks. Um, that there's some other advice. If you have an aviary, be sure you don't just use bird netting on the top. Use some wire or a roof.
I feel like
Um,
that's one of those hard lessons everybody
yeah,
comes across,
yeah,
eventually.
yeah. And that it was a Cooper's hawk was our issue, and he would dive bomb the net and just break it. And there's some raptor people, and I asked them about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, Cooper's hawks, they're relentless." They said they'll try anything. And I was like, "Yep, we're retiring the aviary then."
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and basically I lost all my Tibetans and tried for about a year to find more, and then I got more, and I couldn't get my birds clean, so they would all be Rosetta and everything else, and so I've scrapped my tuxedo line probably 3 or 4 separate times just because I get it going, I hatch them, I see them, and I'm like, "No, I don't like how that looks," so I just cut the whole line and start again.
Mhm.
And finally, I've gotten to where I have pure Tibetans, and the missing piece to my puzzle was always having an English white with underlying EB and not just the underlying Pharaoh, which is most commonly in the English whites.
Right.
And so now I have that nailed down, and so I'm bringing it back.
Bringing it back. It's always the worst when you have to start all over again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And I've done that on so many lines to where and I've talked to Michael Rose about it, and he said, "You know what? Sometimes that's just what you have to do. Stop fighting the genetics and just start over. Get
yeah.
better genetics."
Mhm. Mhm. I feel like we've started over with our Italians and Manchurians 500 years now. It's ridiculous.
I just now Aaron might be surprised to hear this, but I've brought Italians and Manchurians onto the farm, even though those are some of my least favorite bird colors.
He said he agrees. He agrees. Least favorite bird colors.
Yeah,
But people like them. They feather sexable.
yeah.
They like
And
them.
they'll be
So
like I said, I'll put them in my, basic genetics, collection that I'm gonna do.
nice, nice. That's gonna be fun. How long before you think you'll have that one up?
Uh, the only missing piece to the puzzle is the English whites, and they're probably about, I'd say 4 to 5 weeks from laying, and then I'd do a fertility test, so maybe looking at end of
Closer to
June.
fall.
Yeah,
Oh,
closer to fall, end of June, mid-July, something like that.
nice, nice. So
But
not too long.
no, not too long because I've got everything else ready to go, so
Nice. You'll have to make sure you make the announcement when you
yeah,
put that one
yeah,
live. All right. Well, Mason, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Usually it's you and Aaron talking, but today we changed it up. It's you
yep,
and me.
yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and post the links in the description for anybody who wants to go find Mason. And if you would like to be on an interview, just go ahead and leave a comment with your email and I will get back with you. All right, guys. Goodbye.
see ya.